This is a SnapEd New York video presentation.
Hi everyone, and thanks for having me. My name is Christina, and I'll be going over how to make a recipe called Cowboy salad. A copy of the recipe has already been emailed to you prior to this class and can be also found on the Food Hero website at www.foodhero.org. I chose this recipe because it's perfect for summer since it requires absolutely no cooking. You won't have to worry about turning on that oven or heating up the house with this hearty salad. It's also so versatile too. It can be eaten on the side, or place it on top of wraps or burritos, salads, burgers, baked potatoes, or my personal favorite, on the top of scrambled eggs. This recipe also serves as a low-cost protein replacement, as beans are fairly inexpensive ways to beef up any meal. Speaking of protein, it's essential for our bodies because it acts as the building blocks for our muscles, bones, and skin. Protein foods are divided into several subgroups, including seafood, meat, poultry, eggs, nuts and seeds too, and soy products. Eating plant sources of protein like beans, nuts, and seeds are great for our bodies because they are naturally low in saturated fat and high in fiber, which makes us feel fuller longer with less calories. Since nutrients provided by various protein groups can differ, varying your protein choices will provide your body with a range of nutrients designed to keep your body functioning well. For example, B vitamins help build tissue and aid in forming red blood cells. Iron can prevent anemia. Magnesium helps bones and support muscle function, while zinc works on supporting your immune system. Before I dive into the recipe, I'd like to go through the ingredients first and how they fit into the USDA's My Plate. Today, I've chosen a can of black beans, a can of dark red kidney beans, but feel free to purchase whichever you prefer or look what's on sale. Beans are so awesome, they fit into two food groups on the My Plate, the vegetable group and the protein group. Beans can be purchased, canned, or dried, and are great inexpensive ways to vary your protein. The only thing you have to watch for in canned food items is the sodium or salt content. Salt is commonly added to processed foods as a preservative, and eating too much salt can result in negative health outcomes and diseases like hypertension. We want to aim to drink and eat less sodium, saturated fat, and added sugars. A way to look for a product with less salt is to try to find items labeled low sodium or no salt added. These foods tend to have less salt than the regular foods. And if what you're looking for doesn't have these options available, like my black beans didn't, you can always reduce the salt content of your canned vegetables and beans by rinsing them under cold water in a colander or food strainer. This usually reduces the salt content by 40%, which is almost half. For this recipe, I chose to use frozen corn that I had already steamed in the microwave. Corn belongs to the vegetable group and is packed with fiber, which is important for our digestive system. Did you know that just 1 cup of corn counts as a serving of vegetables? We really want to strive to make half of our plates every day full of fruits and veggies for most meals and snacks. Frozen corn is a quick and easy veggie to add in, but you're more than welcome to use fresh or purchase canned. Just remember to look for those low sodium or no salt added versions if you can. Fresh corn on the cob can be found at pretty much every grocery store or farmer's market this time of year and is perfect to add in dishes like this. All you have to do is carefully cut it right off the cob. You really can never have too many veggies. Feel free to add in any others you may like that are in abundance this time of year, like green squash, peppers, and cucumbers. Vegetables provide necessary nutrients for our health, which is why it's so important that we include as many as we can on our plates. For my remaining ingredients, I have a bunch of fresh cilantro. I'll be using a bunch of green onions or scallions. We have 3 medium tomatoes, a tablespoon of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of lime juice, and I'll be adding salt and pepper to taste. Again, the canned, frozen, or dry versions of any of these items are perfectly good substitutes and provide just about the same in terms of nutritional value. I've also learned recently that any of these ingredients can be frozen in a flash and perfectly good stored in the freezer for later use. Another great way to reduce food waste and save money. Now all I have left to do is assemble my salad. I'm basically just going to combine all my ingredients together. I've already drained and rinsed the beans. Add those in. I've already steamed and cooled my corn. I'm gonna add that in. And I've already diced my tomatoes. Add that in. All I have left to do is chop up my cilantro and scallions. You always want to be sure to rinse your cilantro before cutting them because they tend to grow in really sandy soil. Herbs are a great way to add tons of flavor to any dish without adding any salt, sugar, or unhealthy fats. As I mentioned earlier, we want to eat less sodium, saturated fat, and added sugars, which makes herbs like cilantro a great way to make a yummy, flavorful recipe without having to add in all that other stuff. I like to take the bunch and tear it and rip it off right at the top, and I basically just toss away the stems. I'm going to use the claw technique, which basically means I'm going to hold my hand in the shape of a claw like this, like a crab's claw, in order to chop the cilantro. That way my fingers aren't at risk of getting chopped off. Next, I'm going to hold my knife with my finger and thumb holding the blade. This way I'll have the most control over my knife. Make sure when you are trying this at home, you use whichever knife you're most comfortable with holding. For me, I'm going to use what's called a chef knife, but you're more than welcome to use whichever you wish. Now all I'm going to do is lift the back or butt end of my knife, and I'm going to be rocking the knife back and forth to chop all of my cilantro. And then I'm going to keep turning it and doing this method until it's all nice and chopped. Easy enough, right? For the scallions, you can use the same method as I did for cutting the cilantro, but instead of going over it a bunch of times in different directions, you can just chop it all at once in one way until you get to the white part. Or you can use kitchen shears to cut the scallions. This is a great job to give children. Just like that. Now all that's left is to add the remaining ingredients, the olive oil, lime juice, and salt and pepper. When choosing oils, it's healthier to use oils like canola and olive and others instead of solid fats like butter and stick margarine, shortening, lard, or coconut oil. Oils that are liquid at room temperature tend to be healthier for our bodies, especially our hearts. Mix it all together, and there you have it. This versatile dish cost me about $6 to make. The recipe yields about 8 cups, and a half a cup counts as 1 serving. Keep in mind that this can be served as a side dish to any meal or on top of a whole wheat tortilla. Remember, we want to aim to make half our grains whole grains to get more fiber, which helps our digestive system stay regular. Be sure to store any leftovers in the refrigerator within 2 hours. This recipe usually lasts in the refrigerator up to 3 days, but if you're like my family, it doesn't make it to the end of the day. Thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you enjoyed our class.
Thank you for joining us today. We know the healthy choice isn't always the easiest choice, but small changes can make a big difference. Start today by getting involved with SNAP Ed New York. This program is free for those who qualify or receive SNAP benefits. We want to help you save time, save money, and eat healthy. Learn how SNAP Ed can make a difference in your life. For more information and to find your local program, visit snapedny.org. This material was funded by USDA's Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.